Here we go, Chatterinos and YouTuberinos. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing great. We're going to start with this Smite tier list. You see, people say, S tier is this, A tier is this, B tier is this, C tier is this, D tier is this, okay? All right, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I'm going to tell you what S tier is. S tier is a character that can be picked in the top 3 picks and have very little counter picks. It's always very strong. It has to be banned or top picked. All right. A tier is a character that is commonly good. You can still pick it in the top 3, but it's not pick or ban right away. It's something that is still very strong in the bottom of the phase of picking in the bottom 3. B tier is a character that is still strong, but more counter pick oriented. It's not you just pick it because it's good. You pick it because, yes, it's strong compared to these things. C tier is just this character is not that good. It's not in a good spot right now. The items don't complement the character, and that's why it's C tier. D tier is this character's trash. F tier is this character needs to be removed. All right, so we're going to do this. And we're going to start off. We're going to do every god alphabetical order because I'm an organized person. I'm a businessman. Where's my suit? Achilles. Achilles is definitely a B tier character. Why? Like I said, B tier means for me a character that can be picked in any spot in the bottom 3, but he's still a good soul laner. He can still jungle, but he does have his counter pick, which is what? Against the Capri. Good against it's an execute. It's still a very strong character. You can never count out characters with executes. Agni. Agni's A tier. Agni's a god that can be picked as a mage whenever you want, and it's going to perform at a top level. Obviously, the person using the character, you have Dumbo McGee 3000 in Silver 7 with Agni. Obviously, yeah, he might not do a lot of damage, but if Agni's used by a guy that's average at the game and knows how to use the character will always put out damage. The character will always bring CC, and it's a pretty safe character when it comes to terms of damage. He's always going to bring it. Amuzin Cobb. Amuzin's going to be C tier. He's kind of weak right now. Even though attack speed helps him right now, he's always going to be kind of be in a bad spot because it's always been the same problem. He's just easy as hell to kill. While I feel like these items do complement Amuzin Cobb, he still has the being safe problem. Like, he just not... I'd rather have any other hunter that's going to be safe. Yes, can he dominate the lane? Yes, but we're talking about Conquest. You're going to get ganked. Jungle lives in dual lane, so... Poash. D tier. Really none of the items help him right now. I mean, Spear of the Magus kind of, because you can start off with your 1, then your 2, and your 3, and it does a lot of damage. Spear of Magus, yes, it helps him, but he's just never that good of a character. His ulti is very easily avoidable. He does bring good damage, but he's just so easy to kill in the mid lane, especially with these jungle routes, so I don't think he's that good. On her. Honor's an A tier. And like I said, he's always going to be there. He's just like a CC immune boss. The CC immune ulti is always great. He's more of an early mid pressure. He loses in the late game compared to most of the top end hunters right now. The builds don't really favor him, but it doesn't really matter because the early game is so strong. Ama's probably A tier. I don't know. She's S tier in the solo, honestly. Ama's S tier in the solo. The builds really complement her right now because going hybrid on Ama feels real good right now because the items definitely complement her. All the items, Berserker Shield feels super good. And Ama's just always been super strong. She's an aura bot. Her ult is great. Her survivability is great, and she's always very consistent as a character. Anubis is probably C tier right now. Same problem as always. I mean, if we're talking about low end ranked, yes, Anubis is fucking S tier. I understand that, but he's not. So he's definitely a B tier character. He pops off early mid usually in low level elo games, but then he just falls off really hard and just starts dying over and over and over. Like, just being in the jungle, you're out of position. Ayo with the Mayo S tier, baby, until they don't nerf Hectate. which I don't know why Hectate's in the game right now. That item is Bancroft's, Icavale, and some other shit stacked together. I don't really understand that item, but unfortunately, Hectate is in the game, and so AO just destroys people right now. Afro's definitely C tier. She's been hit a couple times with nerfs, and she's just not performing the same way she is. Apollo, I think, is going to sit in the A tier. He's still pretty decent, in my opinion. His ult and his build right now are really good. I think the attack speed build or the crit build is all really strong on him. Hasten Vitalis goes really well with him because his 3 gives movement speed. He just feels pretty good right now. I think Apollo feels pretty good right now. I've been seeing him a lot, and I think he performs well with his build. Arachne's actually the best she's ever been because of the builds, and so that's why she's sitting at A tier. I think when Golden Blade gets hit, she's gonna get hit hard. All of these characters, it is what it is, man. Golden Blade super strong. Serrated is really good on her. There's so many items that just help the AA gods. You're gonna see a lot of AA gods in the jungle. They're gonna be an S tier, A tier, just nevertheless. Aries B tier.
Can you send me the code?
I got you. Aries B tier. He's pretty decent. He's always gonna be the counter pick type of god. I think he's still pretty strong right now. Artemis. I think Artemis is. I think she's definitely stronger right now. I don't know, but I don't know if she's B or C tier. She's between these two. I think I might leave her. I don't know. She doesn't fit there with Achilles and Aries. She's much stronger than she was before, but I don't think she jumps into the B tier yet. If you have beads, she's guaranteed dead kind of play. Golden Blade getting nerfed, but I definitely think it's gonna get nerfed soon. Artio in this, she's out of the game right now because Spirit Magus broke her, but if she's back in the game, I think she's still a very good soul laner. She's always gonna be the counter pick cripple. Lots of stun, lots of slows, lots of sustain. She has it all. Athena in this meta. I'm not sure how I feel about Athena in this meta because there's so many AA gods. I feel like Athena's C tier, B tier. I would say B tier. I'm gonna leave it at B tier. She usually sometimes can be at A tier, but the problem with her right now is that every god is AA. So when you're taunting, you're taking so much damage. A Willix, B tier character. She's just a counter pick god right now. But I think with so many junglers being back in the meta that aren't usually, and a lot of them having jumps. I think Willix is still pretty decent. You know, for example, Kali, Baka. Willix is still in that niche spot. I think Baby Yaga's in the B tier. Definitely moved up a lot of tiers since the last time we did a tier list. I mean, she does a ton of damage. She's great for defense, but the only problem with Baby Yaga is kind of like her engage. She doesn't really have that good of engage. She's not good at running people down type of mage. While other mages like Merlin still can do both. They can do great defense, and Thoth, they can do great defense. They can do a lot of damage, but they also have a W key, while Baby Yaga doesn't really have that good of a W key. You could definitely just walk away from her ults. And I think that's why she doesn't jump into the A tier. Bacchus. I think Bacchus B tier as well. A lot of B tier characters this meta. He's just super tanky. I think he's good against these AA. Because right now the meta is AA. It's all these AA characters came out between the magic hunters and the jungle assassins. And I think Bacchus is pretty good with that because the ult is really, really strong. The burp is really strong. He's kind of just hard to hit. He's hard to stick on. And I think that's something you really need to put into consideration when you think about these supports in this meta. Baka is definitely A tier as well. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of AA gods, a lot of cheese gods right now because the builds definitely point towards them. And that's why Baka is there. And he got buffed a little bit last patch. So he definitely feels strong. And his farming rotation feels great. Mini camps for mid-side are big camps that he could just walk around and eat. It's literally a free 400 HP or 500 HP sitting there for him to grab at any point. It's like a damn health pack. And that's why my reasoning for Baka just being A tier. Super strong. Baron feels pretty good. Baron feels pretty good. I think Baron is Loki on the A tier, man. I've seen him recently, and I think he does a lot of damage. Unexpected damage. He's hard to kill. Lots of sustain. His ult is strong. His root is strong. He brings a lot of CC. He's ranged. I feel like he's pretty good right now. I feel like Baron's A tier. I think he's under the radar. Even though I have seen him play a little bit. Bastet. They're gonna try to speed this up a little bit, just so you guys can make sure you guys know what to see. That's at C tier. She's like whatever. She does decent damage, but she doesn't really bring anything else to the table. Yeah, that's it. Bellona. I think Bellona's like a B tier character between A or B. I think I'm gonna leave her at B though because she really feels like pretty good with these items. Like I said, almost all AA gods feel pretty good right now. All AA gods feel pretty good right now. And whether it's warrior or assassin. Cabraken's always gonna be a B tier, A tier character for me. I'm not sure, but I kind of like A tier for him here. I've always felt like Cabraken's so good. He's so good. His support is strong. His jungle is strong. You just don't farm as fast as the other junglers, but your team fight impact is definitely stronger for most of the game. Camazot's got hit a little bit. I think Camazot's like a B tier. He's not sitting as high as he was before with the new meta. Items don't really complement him that much. The only item that really helps him out a little bit is just the Guardian Shield. The new Guard Shield is okay for him. Cernos. I think Cernos is an A tier character. I feel like he's pretty good with this meta. Of just left clicking, and he's always been really really strong in that aspect of the game. I think Cerberus is A tier. With all this new sustain in the game, well, not new, but Hectate being as strong as it is, and new lifesteal on a couple of different items, I think Cerberus is pretty strong, and his pressure is so strong from the support. His ult is amazing. His 2-1 if you're consistent with it is amazing. He's hard to kill. Chalk, I think Chalk is C tier. I know there's a couple people that really like playing him, but I don't really see his impact ever. He wins and then ults, and then that's his fight. And if you don't do something big with that, you're just kind of out of the fight. You're just walking around. Chang'e feels not as good right now. I feel like she's pretty easy to stick to as a mage, and she doesn't do enough damage to stop people right now. Like, if you're Nemesis, you're Bacchus, you're Arachne, you run onto Chang'e, she doesn't do enough return damage to get you off of her, and she doesn't have any escape, so she just kind of falls over. Chernbog, I think Chernbog is just a B tier character. I think he's just pretty flat. He's strong, strong global, strong presence, good damage, very simple. I think Chiron's actually an A tier hunter right now. His 1 buff was pretty big. He's pretty safe. He has really good self peel as a hunter. He's always going to put out consistent damage, and his buff was pretty big. I think it helps the early game a lot. Chronos is like a B tier character right now, or B tier, A tier, but I think I'm gonna put him at the B tier. I feel better about him being a B tier. He just Hectate's good. It's literally as simple as that. Hectate's good. That's really all you can say. Cthulhu, I think Cthulhu's S tier. Definitely a pretty bloated ult. He can kind of chase down anyone or zone anyone from the fight pretty easily, and you can't stop the zonage. Like, he can definitely just take one person out of the fight, guaranteed. And it just feels like that. And his laning presence is pretty good. His AoE is really, really good. And team fights as a Guardian. I think Cthulhu's A tier. Cthulhu. There's so many Cthulhus. Kachuchu, Chukuku, Kukuku, Pupupu. I think Kukulkan, Kukuku. He always brings pressure, man. He's always been good. He has good disrupt, good counter heal, good initiation, good disengage, great damage, great disruption. I think he's always going to be pretty good, in my opinion. And I think A tier is a good spot to put him. I feel like he's a really consistent character. Cupid got buffed, but I still think his problem is his ult. If you're not crippling a ton of characters, the character isn't as good. I'd rather have any other hunter because he's not gonna hyper carry the same way as a Rama or an Apollo or something in that aspect. Can he be strong? Yes, but like I said, it's a niche. It's a niche when he is strong, and so that's why it leaves him at a B tier. I think Daji was at an A tier, but she drops to a B tier with these changed items. None of the items really help her out. She still has to kind of go full power. She's not very good with these new items. Sure, you can build them on her, and she would perform decent, but they're not for her. She's still a beads puller. That's why she'll stay at the beads here. She pulls beads 100%. Hard to kill with her ult. Good damage. She's still I think exactly where she was a split ago. Discordia. I feel like Discordia is pretty good right now. Her 2-1 combo with Spear Magus into the ult is really strong. I think she's need to be positioned really properly. It's kind of hard. I don't know. I kind of want to throw her into the B, but I'm not sure if she's in the. I'm not sure. I'm gonna leave her at A tier. I feel like she's pretty strong. She has really long range damage. She's kind of easy to jump on, but she has okay peel. She has good return damage. I'm gonna go with Erlang. Erlang is kind of like A tier right now. Items definitely help him out. He has a super strong early game, super strong mid game. I think he falls off kind of late game, but the early mid I think keeps him at an A tier. These items definitely help him in every aspect. A lot of these hybrid AA characters are definitely benefiting a lot of these items, these new items. Fafnir, I think, bro, I feel like Faf is so good in this meta. Definitely S tier, man. I mean, what is this meta, chat? AA. So Faf is definitely sitting up there as one of the best supports in the game right now. Fenrir is definitely a D tier character. None of these items really help him. His abilities seem really telegraphed. His brutalize isn't strong enough to. These AA characters will definitely just turn and burn during a brutalize. And I think that's a problem. Yeah, Faf is. I mean, Fenrir definitely needs some buffs. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they definitely need some buffs. AA is auto attack. Freya's S tier. I'm sure all you guys have seen a ton of Freyas in your games. Oh yeah, I mean Hectate is broken, bro. Hectate is super strong. You go Typhons, you got Pen, you have attack speed, you have everything you need. You don't burn her, she's gonna wipe your whole team. That's pretty much the name of the game when there's a Freya in the game. Ganesha is definitely still A tier, one of the very great support. The problem is that there's, like I said, this is an AA meta, auto attack meta, and Ganesh doesn't feel that good because you're trying to silence, and you're not gonna silence autos. You know what I mean? People can just stick onto you very easy as well. I think Geb is pretty damn good in this meta. He's really hard as a Bacchus or as an Arachne or a Nemesis or a Mercury. Geb is really good. He's just peels amazingly. His shield does a ton. His ult is great. He's hard to kill. The rollout is good. To a good escape. I feel like Geb is really strong right now. Guan Yu. I think Guan Yu is he's kind of underused. He's between B or C tier. I'll leave him at B tier just out of respect. His heal is so good. Out of combat healing is really good, but none of these items really help him. They really just really focus on AA items. And Guan, like I said, is not an AA character, but he has heals. He's very good in the mid-late game. His ult will always be really good because as an AA, like I said, meta, I know I'm saying this a lot. When you have to think about is, can you stick to the warrior very easily? And Guan is definitely not one of those characters. Between the dash and the ult, he's not easy to stick to as a Nemesis or as a Merc or any of these characters that are really popping off in the jungle right now. Hachi. I feel like Hachi's always going to be very high up. And S tier is definitely a good spot. It's between S or A tier. He CC immune ult, a super long CC immune ult that has a lot of movement speed on it, so you can get really far. You can get into fights, you can get out of fights. He has great initiation, he has a stun, he has a buff, he has long range damage. He's really safe. I think he's pretty good. Guan isn't C tier. No, I don't think he's C tier. I think B tier is more fair. C tier into some comps, but mostly B tier. I think Hades is C tier. He just gets blown up in this meta. He doesn't do anything. He just sits there, and the A characters just sit there autoing him as he ults. Hebo's Hebo, man. Hebo's Hebo. That's all you can say. He's always gonna one tap until they nerf him. Until they nerf him, he's just gonna one tap people. He's gonna take someone out of the fight. And if he lives after that, great. If he doesn't matter. Did his job. Hell, I think Hell still sits in the same spot. Is counter healing more accessible? No, not really. They added a shuriken that messes with counter healing, but nobody really builds a shuriken. And if you do, it's like very situational because you need a lot of crit in your build. So I don't think it's that good. So I think Hell kind of sits in the same spot that she did before. A tier, feeling confident. Healing's great. The damage is great. A little bit. It took a small nerf, but not enough for me to say she's done. Heimdall. I think Heimdall is definitely overrated, chat. I think he's overrated. I think he's nowhere near the S tier. I think he's A tier, and he can even sit at B tier if it was up to me. I think he's very predictable. He has to ult to self-peel. Yes, he's safe in the early mid-game from ganks with his 3, but that doesn't become as accessible anymore when you're jumping into a team fight. His 2 combo is great. Everybody's right now is going full power with him. When I say full power, I'm talking about Heartseeker, Jotuns, Crusher, Brawlers, Hydra's type of build, full pen build. And yes, you do a lot of damage, but once you're in the mid late game and you ult to self peel, they beads to kill you. I feel like you're pretty useless if they get on top of you. You definitely need some peel. Hera, I mean, Hera, we haven't been able to see Hera in a while because she's out of the game right now. But I think Spirit Magus could keep her in the meta. The item is really good with Argus, but we'll see. We'll see how they fix that or what they say they're gonna do with that. But until then, we'll leave her at B tier. I think she's still pretty decent, pretty hard to kill. Yeah, you can stick to her really easy, but her shield helps a lot. And movement speed helps. Herc sitting at A tier because you guys already know how that goes, bro. Herc early game. I mean, you know what's coming when there's a Herc support, but then even if you know what's coming, it's gonna happen either way. You're gonna get pressured. I mean, unless you punish it hard, but it's really hard to punish because you really don't want to fight. Horus, I think Horus is sitting at the A tier as well. He's still very strong. He does a lot of big things. The hard CC chain is really important. The peel he brings in this AA meta where the Nemesis, the Merc, the Kali, all of these assassins are diving. I think Horus does a lot right now. He definitely feels really annoying as an assassin or jungler myself. Huey, I think Huey is an S tier character. Obviously his passive being really good against the crit. I feel like he can definitely trade with these AAs that are running at him. And that's my reasoning. And his ult is great. Hun bots. Damn, bro. We haven't said this about Hun bots, man. Hun bots does not feel good in this meta. I don't know, man. I want to give him B tier out of respect, bro. But he's between B or C tier. We'll leave him at B tier just because his ult is respectable. It's one of the best ults in the game. But very long CD. None of the items help him. He's definitely a full pen type of character. Yeah, I mean, he's all right. His ult's way too long CD, though. I think Isis is more of a C tier right now. She isn't that good. She's an ult bot. Like, past, 8, 10, 12 minutes, you're just an ult bot. Your Wingus and your 2 don't do enough damage because you need to go hybrid, because if you don't go hybrid, you're just going to die. Izanami. I've been seeing a lot of Izanami recently. I think she's good with these builds, but she still has the same problems of escape. And so I think it's her escape being so bad that you can't really put her at A tier. Janice is at B tier too, not an A tier character, but I sometimes I want to put him at A tier because I feel like he's very safe versus AA characters, and I think that gives him a big up because this meta, like I said, and I'm sorry you've heard it 22 times, it is an AA meta and that impacts everything. And so when you think about Janice, you think about his mobility, and his mobility makes it very hard for assassins to stick to. Pretty much Mercury is one of the only ones that's very good at sticking onto him. Nemesis, not very good. Kali, okay. Bacchus, not very good. If you just beat the ult, then you're out, guaranteed, and that's just the problem. So that's why I kind of want to put Janice at Ace here, and he does bring the damage. The Spear of the Magus item change doesn't help him necessarily because you're kind of clapping in and out. You're not using your 1-2 until mid-late game. So I'm going to leave him at B tier, but I think he could jump to A tier. I think he's pretty strong. I think we might see him in the SPL a little bit more. Definitely those who are comfortable with him. Jing Wei is always going to be an A tier character. One of the safest hunters. I mean, I'm just happy she's in the S tier right now. She's been in the S tier for so long. She definitely just deserves to be here. She's one of the safest hunters, one of the best power farming hunters, and she just brings the deeps every time. I think Jorm doesn't feel good into an AA meta. He's just a stand-up fucking pecker that just gets hit over and over and over again. It doesn't feel good. When Jorm feels good is when you're talking about Humbots and Thors and Ratataskers. and that you're able to CC immune the combo, and then you are no longer scared of them. You can run at them, you can do whatever you want, but that is not the case when you're talking about a Bacchus Nemesis or characters that can burn you without their ults. I think Kali's definitely S tier in this meta. The items definitely go her way. You're going to see her a lot in the SPL, no doubt. I mean, shout out to my boy Cherio. He loves that character and he frags on it every time. You're going to see her a lot. Golden Blade is amazing on her. Acre Veil, you could do Acre Veil. You could do whatever you want with these builds with Kali right now, to be honest. I think Capri is S tier. Damn. These defensive supports are definitely, as I'm starting to look at my own tier list, I'm starting to see that these defensive supports are looking really nice. And it's because of the meta. Because look at this. What counters this? Well, obviously not this versus the Capri, but you could cleanse it. But, you know, these characters, it's the safe supports. It's the very true safe supports that help. I feel like you have two different ways to come at it. You could either do the save your carries, or I don't know. I'm kind of fried. I just forgot what the fuck I was talking about. But yeah, Capri, the defensive guardians are really strong right now. You could like I'm saying. Oh my bad, I remember. You can go like the Herc. You can go the Herc, the Ganesh, the kind of high pressure supports that can just run at you. But at the end of the day, the Guardians are going to outscale you in the late game to defend their carries. And if you're not making ginormous Herc 2-1s or ginormous Ganesh ults, you're going to lose a fight most of the time. I think King Arthur's a B tier now. Now with the change, the item definitely was making him, very, very strong. But I think now, with that not being the case and him forced to build Soul Eater to be relevant in these long team fights, it definitely lowers his procs and how tanky he is. And so I think he dropped a couple tiers where before he was S tier, now he's about a B tier. Still a pretty good character though. I think Cuckoo's like kind of like a B tier. He definitely blows up tanks. I just put myself in the shoes, right, of as an assassin or a mage. He's just gonna blow someone up. And if you're diving him, he's gonna blow someone up. It's guaranteed. Kumba's definitely A tier support right now. Like I said, a meta. Yes, Kumba's so good into that. I don't know if you guys have been noticing more Kumbas, but yeah, that's definitely the case. Good initiation, great peel, very annoying. Kuzembo falls into that same field. Loki, same thing, C tier. His items don't really help him that much. He's kind of going to go the same build either way, and he's going to play the same way. I think Medusa jumped up a tier. I think before she's kind of C tier, but I feel like she's much stronger right now with her extra Viper shot and the extra range on her too. It makes her more versatile and way more damage. I think she's underrated right now. I really haven't seen that many Medusas. You already know Mercury is in the S tier with these items. I think his build didn't change much though, but Golden Blade meta being it the way it is, Mercury does power farm at an incredible rate. He's going to have those items online way before most characters. He's going to crit hard. Erendite is super good still. Crit is still is really good. They added Pen to Wing Demon, which I think helps him a lot low key. Merlin is still an S tier mage, no shocker. Doesn't matter how many times they nerf him. He brings so many aspects of the game to the table. He brings the burn objectives. He brings the poke. He brings the CC. He brings a lot to the table, and he has an Ang skin. So yeah, S tier. Mulan sits in the same field. I think she's C tier. Her ult is just so bad. Every time I see her ult, she just dies. Every single time. I think Neith is back, guys. I think Neith is back. I think Neith jumps up to the A tier. She's very solid. Her ult is super annoying, even in a competitive aspect or a ranked aspect. Her backflip looks much better. Way harder to punish than it was before, and I think that's why she deserves that A spot. That ult makes big differences in those early skirmishes. And I think with these items, she does still hit very hard. Nemesis, I think, sitting at the A tier. I'm not sure. I'm not. She's between S tier and A tier, but I think you have to get your auto cancels perfect to be playing at an S tier level. But she definitely can do it. I'm sure some of you guys have watched my YouTube videos where I'm just popping off on her. I don't know, man. I'm gonna leave it on A tier. She could be S tier, but A tier for now. Nemesis, all these items that benefit Nemesis big. Serrated, Hasten, Golden. Even though I'm going in a Crusher build right now, but definitely. Naja sitting at a B tier. Her ult still sets up fights very well. Her CC is great, or him. But not the same Naja that we saw, about a year ago. Nike. Nike's interesting. Nike's still A tier. The shield is really strong, and if you commit Sunder to it, I mean, you committed Sunder to the Soul Laner's ult. You know what I mean? So it doesn't feel that good. But she still has good knockup, good clear, and really good with this AA versus the AA meta where she can push you away for a while, delay her death for a long time. I think Knox is kind of like an A tier or B tier. I'm gonna say B tier. You have to hit 80 or 90% of your abilities to be at that level, at that A tier, S tier level, and if that's you can't bail on that. Nua's kind of like an A tier. It's just very good damage and a very good self-peel mage. One of the best self-peel mages in the game. With that being said, she has consistent damage with her ult and vision. And her fog is great for getting in and out of fights, and her turn burn is disgusting. Odin, I think Odin's pretty much C tier right now. Not too many characters. A lot of characters with jumps right now are in the meta. Alderun's S tier. He is nutty. Obviously, Hectate being insane. Typhon's being insane. Self-sustained within his 3 and one of the best ults in the game. No need to say anything else. Osiris will say B tier. He doesn't feel that crazy of high pressure. I feel like you can stabilize his pressure, and then when he does rotate, he does a lot for like the first 12 to 15 minutes, but then he definitely feel the fall off. Pele is A tier, guaranteed. Pele's A tier, guaranteed. She's very strong with serrated. I don't know how it works exactly with 3, but if it works the way I think, then it should be pretty strong. And she's always just going to be super strong. Her ult, CC immune, long distance, ton of damage, ton of movement speed. Definitely gets to your backline. Soul Eater is probably pretty good on her. She has a lot of routes for building right now. Purse is still S tier. Insane burst. Alive after you die. So the problem that most mages have where they die before they get a damage off. She doesn't have that. And her ult is still one of the best ults in the game. Poseidon definitely feels pretty bad in this meta. He just gets run down. If you Aegis or beats the Kraken, he just falls over. Same thing with Raw. Raijin is definitely still pretty strong. He can self-peel. I think the biggest key right now is damage and self-peel when it comes to mages, and I think Raijin fits that case really well. Rama, definitely S tier hunter right now. Just click away. Rat S tier. They changed all the nuts, and he's definitely not easy to play against when you look at a rat. When you look at a character like Purse or Rama or Olo, you know what's coming. It's the damage or it's a CCM ult. I think right now there's a lot of different things. You can either get crit for 500 early game or be a ton of sustain or super tanky or very easy to get stunned by. I think it's pretty good all around. I think A tier Ravana, he's strong. He's one of those junglers that stays strong. His immunity on his 2 and his ult is very good. The CC immunity as well. His damage is still good. And even with the builds not pouring his way, Ravana is still pretty strong. Silla's always going to be A tier for me. I think it's one of those mages that could definitely hyper carry. Brings the damage always. The root cripple annoys a lot of these AA carries right now. And the damage is there and has great escape. I think Serket's underrated right now. Definitely under the radar. I've been using her, and the build variety feels really good, and I think I've been owning with her. I think Set is A tier. Set jumps up. His 2-1. I mean, he might be S tier. I don't know. I haven't played him enough. He feels S tier. I think the problem before with Set was that he had to full engage and pop off with his ult and not die during his whole duration and sustain it all. But with his 2 and his 1 changing for higher deebs, you can kind of go this hybrid auto attack power build with Heartseeker, Joans, and maybe Berserker. I'm about to drop a mid video on Set soon. You guys gotta check that out. It's insane. Scotty feels, I would say, B tier. She's like situational whether you pick her. If there's like a rat in the game or Thor in the game or Hebo in the game, she kind of just falls over. But if that's not the case, she has pretty good self peel for these AA gods, and she feels pretty decent. That's awesome, Nat. Congrats. I think Sobek is pretty much an A tier support right now. He's really annoying to play against. As an AA god, he just kind of like fumbles you, he plucks you, he puts you out of position, and if he commits his pluck to you, it's not like you can full commit to him because he just ults and then you're slowed, so you can't keep up with him. So I think Sobek's in a pretty good spot right now. I think Soul is literally only B tier because of Hecate. If not, she would be D tier without Pwash. Wukong is B tier as well. He has a good slow on his 2. That slows attack speed as well, if I'm not mistaken. Good disengage. I think Soul Eater got buffed, and that helps him out a bit. And the builds, I feel like, kind of point his way. I think Susano's A tier, like he's always been. He's very, very, very strong, and I think he's good versus AA gods because he just blows you up before you can turn and burn, and or he just gets away. And I think it's being slippery and having damage is definitely the meta right now. Savannah's got buffed, but the problem consists where he just falls over and dies. But he's not C tier because he got buffed in the damage department, and so he can return damage if you full commit to him, and I think that's enough. I think that's more than some Guardians can do. I think Terra is sitting A tier. She's pretty annoying versus these this AA meta and a lot of these mages, so that's why I think Terra sits there, and her ult's always going to be amazing. Penta with a 5 get subs. Angel, I got Fuego, Jared, Lexar, welcome. Let's finish up this tier list. Thanatos, I think Thanatos sits at a B tier. He definitely does bring the execute. He brings the high damage, but with his high movement speed, gods running around, it's kind of hard to hit that scythe. And if you're not hitting that scythe consistently, Thanatos definitely falls off, guaranteed. Morgan, I think Morgan's more like an A tier right now, but Erendite's really good. I'm going to leave her at a B tier. I don't feel like she'll be first picked in the SPL. I think she's more of a niche pick if people forget about her, or the comp looks good where she has good transformations. But I don't think if she doesn't have good transformations, she definitely doesn't feel strong. We're talking about my Thor or Thor? Kepe. I think Thor is still good. His builds didn't change, but he brings a lot of power, and I think he's still pretty good versus AA gods. He has a lot of disruption and a lot of disengage. You can't really stick to Thor as easy as you want to. Thoth got buffed a bit. He is still a pretty good mage. The only thing is he does get run down pretty hard, so I'm going to leave him at a B tier. But his damage is insane. The fact that he has a dash and you feel like you could just run down that dash as any of these fast movement AA gods. Thor is still S. Nah, you can't say Thor's S. Thor's not S tier. Thor is not on this level of characters. Why is Mulan C tier? Because she only dominates lane. She dominates lane and doesn't transfer the pressure into the team fight. And the Gold Fury. You get a lead from having such high pressure with your abilities and the level of your abilities, but then you rotate to a Gold Fury fight, you ult into the backline, you die, and there goes your lead. I've seen that happen 100 times. Tier, B tier, he's B tier. He has good disruption. He has decent solo laner, but the meta didn't shift to him when it comes to builds. But he's still really annoying versus AA gods because you can't stick to him well. I'm actually going to put him in A tier because if Nike's sitting here, I feel like he should be there too. He has a disarm. He has a knockup, lots of CC. He's not easy to stick to. I think that's one of the biggest things as an AA god. And when I think of Nemesis, Mercury, when I'm running out of tier, I'm scared I'm going to get knocked up. I'm going to get CC chained. And so I can't commit as hard as I want to like I would against, most solo laners. Ullr's still sitting up there in the A tier. He definitely still dominates, and I think even though the builds kind of changed, I think it benefits him still. I think he's still pretty strong. And going Heartseeker and those high pen builds are still very strong. Vamana's A tier. The items definitely pointed towards, like I said, the AA warriors and assassins, and so that's why I think so. I think Vulcan's is definitely at a C tier. Has the same problems as Raw and Poseidon right now. X-Ball's B tier. The lack of vision is still very strong. I think Jing 10 is probably S tier right now when it comes to this meta. Jamoja as well. Jing 10 is definitely one of the top supports right now, as well as Jamoja. And I think Ymir can kind of sit up there as well with the walls and the buffs that he's had. Zeus is definitely D tier, and Jean-Qui, buff Jean-Qui I'm gonna go with B tier. Still, they buffed how tanky he is, and I think that's important in this meta. Hope you guys enjoyed your tier list. Much love, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know you guys were waiting for this tier list for a while, but I had to really get a feel for this meta and definitely play my share of ranked games and competitive games, which I'm sure you guys have seen on the YouTube. So much love, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting my YouTube. Hope to see you guys around.